Did you guys see that clip of maybe you even played it on the show of Kamala talking to the president of Guatemala?
Yeah, and saying that they're doing too much violence against Afro-Caribbean folks. Which, yeah, I'll comment afterwards.
Right. Do you want me to? Yeah. Do you want to play the clip? I have it.
Yeah,
right
let's
here.
play it. We got it. Brendan's got it up now.
All right. Cool. So yeah. Vice President Kamala Harris had a meeting with the Guatemalan president to basically discuss the root causes, I guess you can say, of all this migration to America from the country. Here is what Kamala had to say. Kamala, excuse me.
There are also long-standing issues that are often called the root causes of immigration. We are looking at the issue of poverty and the lack, therefore, of economic opportunities, the issue of extreme weather conditions and the lack of climate adaptation, as well as corruption and the lack of good governance, and violence against women, indigenous people, LGBTQ people, and Afro descendants.
She does it. What was that list she just said? LGBT, Afro-Caribbean.
Violence against women, violence against LGBTQ people, and Afro descendants. None of which I guess the United States played any part in, by the way.
Well, sorry. The bigger problem isn't that. It's that she completely doesn't mention indigenous people. What she's saying there is completely.
I think she did. I think she did. Am I wrong?
Did she?
You want to play it again?
Well, we can play it again.
I'm sorry. I just want to get that right because I thought I heard her say that and I could be wrong.
Extreme weather conditions and the lack of climate adaptation, as well as corruption and the lack of good governance, and violence against women, indigenous people, LGBTQ people.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So
well,
she did.
Okay,
but
so
those aren't the root causes, though. Those are the results of the root causes that she
Exactly.
doesn't bring up.
Right. Well, the root cause of the Guatemalan genocide is our fucking CIA saying, "Hey, we can't elect leftists there." That's the
talk
root
about
cause.
root causes. We have an airport named after the two guys in our nation's capital.
Yeah.
Who started this whole thing?
I'm reminded of like when there's talk about what's going on in Afghanistan, for example, like Bret Stephens' op-ed or what Bush was saying on the Today Show about how, we can't leave because what will happen to the women when the Taliban are able to, I guess, take over and there will be religious extremism in Afghanistan. As if the United States didn't actively fund religious extremism in Afghanistan in order to combat the Soviet Union. This is well documented in regards to the Mujahideen, and these are the results of that, similarly to exactly what Kamala Harris is saying there. It's
Right.
like, we're gonna say that the results of our own constant interference and arrogance and imperialism are actually the root causes, and that's what you need to be looking at, and let's just shuttle away all of our involvement that created these root causes.
When you emphasize, like Harris does, that like individual bigotry and hate, when they say systemic racism, they mean there are racists in the system, not that the system is racist. That's their argument against the GOP.
Right.
And yeah, like to say that like the problem is there's too much anti-indigenous sentiment in Guatemala, it doesn't answer like what's been financing that, what's the material cause of that, who's been exploiting that for power. It's really, I mean, this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about when talking about Central American governments, that they learn to speak in a way that seems more righteous. But it's not. It's still obscuring the real game, which is imperialism.
Right. And even the climate point she brought up, which is obviously accurate, that climate's a huge reason why people are migrating all over the world. But the climate issue, if Guatemala was to become a green energy utopia tomorrow, like that, it still wouldn't matter. Little tiny Guatemala is not causing the sea levels to rise because of what they are doing alone. Like, that is ridiculous that even bring that up too. It's just,
yeah, it is.
What is Guatemala supposed to do about it? I mean, give me a break.
And what does that, what lesson does that send to other countries about how serious America is about climate change?
Right. Right. I mean, here, America is like destroying the world along
our
with the
military, the same military that
Right.
like cooed that country or consulted, whatever the hell you want to call it, or literally like like fake radio stations and shit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a menace, and that's go ahead.
Who are those 10 companies that are causing most of the damage to the climate? I'm pretty sure like 8 or 9 out of the 10 of them are American companies. Now,
also, number one would be the U.S. military, but yeah, like you said, like all these other companies that
right. If only there was some country who could do something about those companies. If only. Guatemala, get your shit together. Come on.
The other aspect of this too that I think we should like touch on is that essentially she's kind of blaming U.S. extreme policy towards immigration and the like in many cases barbarity that we're seeing along the border, even though yes, the Biden administration has tried to improve over the Trump administration, but still has kept a great majority of the framework intact, Title 42, etc. She's basically blaming that on Guatemalan racism, like their governmental racism and bigotry towards people, because like all of this was caused by the United States, yes, but there's no agency that she treats the US like it doesn't have any agency, and like the policies that are being put in place along the border can't be changed regardless of the root causes of why people are coming here. I mean, that's another huge part of this.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is land reform, which is also when the CIA is like, oh, we got to get involved here. But that's fundamentally, if you want to stop, first of all, like I think if people want to come here, they should be able to come here and work here. But and we should have an economy that isn't predicated on a border securing people's wages. We should just take those from the capitalists. But yeah, I don't know. It's really gross, and the way like Trump. Like that, I think the indigenous thing is just important to stress as like the key here, because like when Trump's saying like they're not sending their best, they're sending their rapists and stuff like that to the white coded audiences in Mexico, they're fine with that because they feel the same way about those people. Like they think they're rapists, indigenous. Like Bolivia, the right wing coup, they were literally talking about murdering satanic indigenous people, right? So like I don't know. I think played, yeah. Biden's foreign policy needs a lot of work, I guess is the line.
It is like, I mean, I think immigration and foreign policy have been by far the worst two prongs of the Biden administration's approach thus far.
Right. Kamala's out there going, they're sending their gays, they're sending their natives. I mean, what was like that? It's so like ridiculous that she would say those are the root cause. I can't.
They're sending their homophobes, and some of them, I suppose, are good people.
I don't think she has actually an understanding too. I mean, like that's a failing. I don't think that Kamala Harris, a prosecutor who clearly, you know, had ambitions for higher office and only was in the Senate for a short period of time, has an intimate or thoughtful understanding of the United States involvement abroad.
Which is a failure, as a worker said on Twitter. That's a failure of her father, the Marxist professor.
Well, actually, I forgot about that. Maybe she does, and maybe this is a part of the rebellion.
We need Kamala to pull a Andrew Giuliani and get back in her dad's good graces. That's what we need.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing if her dad, Donald Harris, becomes part of the cabinet.
Yeah.